Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dragon Talk. How's it going? I'm Greg Tito, and I'm joined by Shelly Mazanoble.
Hi.
How are you today?
Great. How are you?
Pretty good.
Welcome back, Tito.
I'm excited to be back.
Are you really?
We're here in, like the last sprint before the Stream of Many Eyes.
I know.
It's like we are going very fast.
I do feel like it's all just crazy downhill tumbling from here.
It's true. We're all just going to fall
Ass
off a
over
huge
tea
cliff
kettle.
like lemmings.
Yep.
Ass over Tito? Is that what you just said?
Oh, yeah. Ass over tea kettle, but Tito's way better.
That makes way more sense.
Yeah.
We, of course, have two awesome guests with us in the studio from the Dragon Friends. We got David Harmon and Shakeera Khan.
Hello.
Hello.
It is us from the other side of the world.
Authentic.
All the way from the bottom.
A long way away.
And now
Those
you're
are-
here, as Drake said. You started at the bottom, and now you're here.
Yeah, started at the bottom, ended up in Seattle. I believe is what he said.
That's
Exactly what he meant.
exactly what he meant, yes. Toronto guy, but yeah, no, sure, that makes total sense.
Totally.
So you guys came to the U.S. for funzos, right?
For funzos.
Yeah. No, this isn't business for us. Me and Shakeera are incredibly lazy, disorganized people, and we got married a year and a half ago.
A year and a half
This is
ago.
our honeymoon.
All right.
Yeah.
Is it
A
still
year
a
and a
honeymoon?
half. Or is it a
Kind of
vacation?
honeymoon. We haven't been on holiday since then, so I guess it's still a honeymoon.
Yeah, it feels like that. But we were going to a whole bunch of cities, and of course we were here for Tomb of Annihilation, and that was the first time we'd ever been to Seattle. So we wanted to do Seattle properly. Because last time we did it, I think we rode on a swan boat, and then someone threw a fish at me.
That's very Seattle.
Seattle, yeah.
Okay.
You did
That's
it.
perfect. So you guys were already married at the Stream of Annihilation a year ago, and now then you finally get the honeymoon. That makes
Newlyweds.
perfect sense.
Yeah.
You were like newlyweds.
You were newlyweds back
Yes.
then.
That's how we chose to spend our time.
I guess that is true. So technically, last year was kind of a honeymoon.
Oh, God.
We just took
But you were
the
working all
Dragon
that.
Friends with us.
Yeah, we took 6 of our incredibly annoying and
Cool.
friends with us to Seattle
Sweet.
and played Dungeons and Dragons with them.
What else do people do on
Okay.
honeymoons?
I don't know.
That seems normal.
Is that what you did on your honeymoon? You went on. You played Dungeons and Dragons. I did not. I did have a lava flow though. Does that count?
What is a lava flow?
I think it's a Hawaiian thing. It's basically like a strawberry daiquiri, but they call it a lava flow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because it's like the strawberry's not mixed yet, so then it starts to mix as you get it. That's what I was told anyway. And then I drank a lot of them, and they always tried to give them to my wife, who was ordering like Mai Tais and like brown liquids, and I was like, no,
Ooh.
I want the sweet stuff.
No.
Bring me the sweet
He
stuff.
likes the girly drinks.
It's true. They're so good.
Yeah.
They just go down
That
perfectly.
sounds amazing.
I've discovered, I think like brunch is a bigger deal we were in Boston, maybe it's a Boston thing, but we are all about brunch now, which is apparently breakfast, but you're allowed to be drunk,
Exactly.
Yeah.
is what I'm discovering.
Do they not have
the-
brunch in Australia?
We have brunch, but it's
We've never
not
really
super
done it.
into drinking.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a much less about the mimosa.
Oh no,
Yeah.
that's all it's about.
Yeah.
here.
yeah.
Bloody Mary, a little, but mostly mimosa.
Maybe an Aperol Spritz if you're feeling cheeky, but I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
Yeah.
I saw you guys. We just had lunch, and you guys ordered a mimosa. I was like, "That's you guys are in the honeymoon."
Is it okay to be drunk on your podcast?
I think a single
have you, not,
mimosa. I
have
think
you never heard this podcast? Obviously.
Sorry, Greg.
Drunky, you're welcome.
Shots. Everybody do shots.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what's in this. It's like straight up vodka every single time.
Got you. He
Tito's
has terrible.
vodka, of
He has
course.
terrible stage fright, so he has to be drunk anytime he's in
I
public.
see, I get
That's
it.
a very...
Mine is just pure social. His is medical.
Just imagine how angry you'd be as the lawyer that read that rider, and it's like he's allowed to be wasted all the time.
It's yeah.
That's how we do it. That's how we do it. That's how we
It's
keep.
a medical condition.
It is. It's right. I have a doctor's note. It's
Some
fine.
people have EpiPens. Greg has vodka.
It's true. It's true. The Dragon Friends have been going strong. You guys are starting your 4th season.
We
pretty soon?
are
Or-
6 episodes into season
episodes
4
in.
of Dragon Friends, which has seen them go all the way from the Sword Coast. They are now on a spaceship, and they are traveling through the phlogiston of the 9 known worlds, going around having adventures, losing their friends, finding new friends, and we're having a good old time.
That sounds
Gotten
cool.
mad.
Wow, wonderful.
Matt Cernit would be so happy that you guys are using all of the spell jammering you could possibly do to get from space to pace.
I'm a big fan of sort of 80s kind of crazy D&D, and so we're doing a lot of that. I really hope that they fight a space hamster at one point. That's kind of my goal. So I'll see if I can make that happen.
Yeah. So as Dungeon Master, you can totally make that happen.
Are you the DM?
Yeah, so we have a very strange setup I'm increasingly realizing, which is that I've a co-DM, so I run the adventures. I do a lot of sort of the planning, particularly the mechanical stuff. And then I have Ben Jenkins, who is a idiot boy in a suit who does voices. And he's very, very funny. He does about 3 voices. 2 of them are trademarked properties of the Hanna-Barbera Corporation. But
Nice.
he finds ways to use them. And yeah, so he'll improvise the social reactions of a lot of our NPCs, plays the NPCs. And if he says canon 3 times really quickly after he says an idiot thing, it has to become part of the story. That's sort of how we work.
Okay.
Canon,
I
canon,
like
canon.
Yeah.
I like that.
Does it get more increasingly like nervous as he says the second canon, and you're like, no, don't you dare say the third.
Is it up to him? Like he gets to decide?
Anyone can say canon.
Okay.
It's not a good system. I have a lot of less control than a typical dungeon master. Our show has been described as very chaotic in the past, and which is fair often by guests that appear on it. But it's everybody who plays has a background in improv comedy. And so we all kind of went to uni together and did comedy shows together for years. And we also do the show in a live theatre in Sydney in front of an audience, and we all drink. We record 2 episodes per live show. So a fun game to play if you're ever listening to Dragon Friends is that I have a bit of control, and I've obviously done some prep work for even-numbered episodes and odd episodes. It's the other way around. Odd episodes kind of make sense, and even episodes are very loose because we do them after we've been drinking, playing Dungeons & Dragons for a while.
Oh, because you record them back to back.
Yeah, that's
right.
And that's usually when the canon happens is Dave's taking a sip of wine or something. Get in there with the canon.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's tricky.
Like before you can take back.
Before Dave
It's
can do
really
anything.
upsetting,
Yeah.
which is it often involves naming characters. It's why we had the vampire Strahd had a bogan Australian accent for a season of our show. It's very upsetting as somebody who takes D&D very seriously and likes to create a certain sense of gravitas.
Yeah.
But it is the hell that I live in.
That's what I love about what you guys brought to the table, though, was this just this fun and comedic aspect of it. Because that's one of my favorite parts about Dungeons and Dragons and playing it is just making people laugh at the table. Like it doesn't even, it usually has nothing to do with the game itself, and that's where it can break down when you're trying to do like a complete narrative or something like that. But just an offhanded remark that gets everybody laughing. That's the thing. That I'm like, oh, we're having fun, and I get little jolts of fun from that. So it was cool to have you guys have the entire group almost doing that at every moment.
Yeah, and it was so fun to do it at Stream of Annihilation, where we got to play and see all the different ways, because I only know the way that I play D&D, so it was really interesting to sort of see some of the other groups and meet some of the other people and have conversations with them and discover like all the different ways that different people play. I've always played with comedian Australian dickheads, and so that's just how the game works, as I understand it.
That's how it is the world round.
Yeah, that's kind of how we play.
Exactly. And you've got a lot of fans, I think, on the, obviously in Australia, but then through the podcast, and then
most of our fans are American.
Having here on the Twitch channel, I think, has been awesome on Friday nights. I would love tuning in and seeing you guys, and then having the hangover talk beforehand on the Saturday afternoons, because you guys were in the future.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, the way we did Tomb of Annihilation is that in our main campaign, they were in Shadowrun in sort of the present day. In 2075 Australia at that point, in a casino, they found an arcade room, and they found an old arcade called the Tomb of Annihilation, and they all sort of got sucked into it and woke up again, and that's how we sort of broke our timelines apart, and we did Tomb of Annihilation, and we failed. I cannot... Did everybody else fail? Because they let out the Atropel and then ran, and I think that's how... Sorry if anybody's still watching Tomb of Annihilation Dragon Friends. It didn't end very well.
I don't think anybody was watching it for the story or the plot. It was for how they ended up making it happen.
Yeah.
And so, Shakeera, you do all of the switching of the videos as well as the audio.
So I do all the vision switching and the audio mixing, which is hard for one person to do, it turns out.
Very unfair system.
It's very unfair. But yeah, so that's been a really fun thing to
I love how you call it vision switching. It makes it feel like you're you're having on a journey, like a vision quest or something like that.
Yep.
And also, I mean, given that we only have like 3 cameras, but it's still kind of vision switching.
It's hard to do.
Yeah.
Shaq also did the website, and so is in charge of a lot of social media as well, and a lot of the stuff that we have out online.
The background stuff. All the stuff that doesn't involve me looking like an idiot on stage.
Just backstage.
Yeah, I just help these guys look like an idiot on stage.
You make them look real good.
Real good.
Real dumb.
idiotic.
Real dumb.
Really, really idiotic.
Yeah,
I love that.
that's right.
Yeah,
So David also went to theater school. Did you know that?
I figured.
Oh, nobody wants to hear that.
I'm an ex-theater.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure a lot of us are, but I figured, like, it just sounds...
In a good way.
All right, okay, all right. Yeah, no, I
It's a
did...
safe place.
All right,
You
can
big
talk
nerd.
about what happened.
it's beginning!
It's the fact that you're wearing a leotard kind of gave it away.
Thank you so much for having me on your show.
The great thing is, Dave, that right now your glasses are fogging up.
My glasses
So
do
I
this.
think-
Nobody else's. My glasses fog up.
It's the glasses' fault.
Yeah, absolutely. It has to be, right? But
Starting to feel very pressured about this theatre.
yes. So I was trained. I went to the big theatre school in Australia, and I was trained to be a director before I got into D&D. But I think a lot of people do. Surely, I think that again, all of our players are improvisers, and that obviously helps a lot. And for me, like directing, like all of my favorite theatre is incredibly interactive and immersive, and all the theatre that I did was increasingly interactive, and all my favorite game experiences are really theatrical, and that's why I think we like doing our show as a live stage show. But it's also why I'm into mega games. Like I ran Watch the Skies, which is a big mega game, a couple of times in Sydney, and I used to put on big event mafia games for like 50 people or 50 of my friends before we did Dragon Friends. So we're deep nerds, but definitely there's a big, I think, theatrical bent in the way we like to do stuff.
So this is the part of the show where I have to ask questions rapid fire because I'm going to forget them.
Okay, do it.
Here we go.
Okay.
Take us back to a time before the show began, and you said, I bet people would come to a theater, and do they pay? Do people pay?
They do.
And pay money to watch us play D&D.
Mm.
What? I mean, how do we get to that? How did we get there, to this point in our lives?
It's really important to realize that we did not have a lot of confidence about the idea. So
Really?
the first Dragon Friends was going to be basically a one-off show that we were going to just do for our friends. And the silliest thing about it is that the podcast was like a week out afterthought, where someone was like, oh, it's really easy to just put audio on. Why don't you guys just put it on a podcast? And we did it mostly so that we would have a recording of it. And yeah, but really it was just, we thought it was going to be completely unsustainable. Our show's premise was comedians play Dungeons and Dragons for the first time. And that was the joy of the first show. And it's a slogan that has become increasingly inaccurate. And Alex Lee, who'd never played D&D before, had a moment where she realized that she's now played Dungeons and Dragons steadily for 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you've played probably 3 times as much D&D as I ever played before we started playing Dragon Friends.
Because I love the increasingly inaccurate tagline.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, and so we were really lucky. We had a couple of big... we were very lucky to go to the Australian PAX, and that was a big moment for us that sort of found an audience for the show. And that's when we started. We were basically... it's a 300-seat theatre, but we were really performing it in a tiny corner of it. And now we've sort of taken over the main space of the theatre when we do the shows.
Like 300 people.
No. So I'd say on a good show, we would sell maybe 150 tickets.
That's amazing.
But but considering that's an audience that comes
growing.
Month by month as well.
Yeah.
It's so lovely. And they are the coolest people because they make T-shirts. They
that's cool.
Draw comics.
They draw comics. They bring us plushies that they've made recently. These Coraline and Kale, who are 2 people who come to it a lot, brought us bingo cards that they made of all the things that we do wrong in the show and distributed them.
That is awesome.
It was like, I remember like one bingo square was Ben Jenkins loses the plot and just swears for a laugh. And like one which was very unkind to me was Dave gets 3.5 in 5th edition confused. Brackets, reflex, will, etc.
Sometimes it's a spot check. Can I get a spot check?
Oh, yeah. I do touch attacks all the time. I still really like a good touch attack.
Hey, you know what? It's your game. You can do what you want with it.
That's what I keep telling them.
Yeah.
Choose the best. That's not wrong.
It's not
just
wrong.
different.
It's just like a la carte.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's fine. So is the audience involved in the show? Is it interactive?
Well, the bingo certainly made it interactive.
They make themselves interactive, I guess.
I think the loveliest thing about our audience is they'll occasionally heckle, but it's heckling to help out the cast members.
It's usually reminding them of a
helpful.
magic
Yeah.
item they have.
And that's probably, and we get them to draw fan art. as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
the best thing that is, we give away prizes and we hand out sketchbooks before each show, and you can find all this stuff on our website because that's where a lot of the comics, but also they just draw the scenes live, and then in the interval and at the end, we just show all this great art that's been drawn of that adventure.
That is so cool.
I don't understand. I find art akin to a kind of school of magic. Like people that can draw
I agree.
beautiful art so quickly, like, is amazing.
I don't
And
know how they do that. It's just like it ends up being like this completely well thought out composition that would take, if we were using words, like it would take me a month to write something as good as that.
And I'm sure, as you guys know, if you've like ever dungeon mastered, like the ability to like create a scene and then 45 minutes later have someone show you a cool drawing of it is just so. It feels like a huge gift. It's really, really fun.
That is
cool.
cool. That's cool. So you mentioned guest stars as well.
Yeah.
So who are these people?
So a lot of our friends work in comedy, live comedy or TV comedy. And also some of them work in the media. Alex Lee, for instance, used to, when we started Dragon Friends, was working for BuzzFeed. So we had weird connections to not just a lot of comedians, but kind of commentators and politicians. And so we've had some...
Politicians?
Well, when
What?
we did our first PAX, we had Australian Green Senator Scott Ludlam.
Really?
Came and played a level 4 Wood Elf Ranger called Twiggy of the Forest.
Oh, great
Because
name.
it was green.
Yeah,
Makes perfect sense.
But also, Twiggy Forest is like a mining magnet in Australia, so it worked on a lot of levels.
So many layers.
And it was, he was fantastic. And because we'd already heard from somebody who knew through the media that he was a big D&D player. But we've also had a lot of comedians, Auntie Donna, who tour Australia. We've had Mark Bonanno on, Jordan Raskopoulos from Axis of Awesome. She came on quite a few times. We have a lot of comedian friends that do the show. And yeah, I'm just trying to think.
A lot of people. Do you know we've got Susie Youssef?
Tonight's, yes, with their recording. I'm terrified. I'm really upset about this.
So Ben is going to be running this?
Yes, so
Ben and Eden. Yeah.
if you're in Australia, I really recommend getting a chill phone down to Giant Dwarf where we do the show, because I usually manage not to miss, but I am missing the taping of the next 2 episodes of Dragon Friends. And so Ben is running it, and he's decided that he's going to completely write the adventure. I've had no input. I haven't seen any notes.
Oh, no.
I've had a brief... He knows the general arc of where we're trying to go, and he knows about the world of where we set it, this ship called the Saturnine. But I'm very curious to see what happens. I remember last time, once before we left... And when I left them, they were like in a desert, and I was like, they need to find water and get to a city. And then I came back, and they had a Mad Max convoy of weapons and a tribe. And one of them was like, with the guitar, flames. And I had to deal with that for the next, in a way that didn't feel like it was just taking away all their toys. He's a very permissive dungeon master.
To have all the things, all the magic
like a
items.
dad.
He's like a dad.
He's a dad.
Yeah, he's like a half player, half DM, so that's part of it too.
He's the cool dungeon master you have to see on the weekend to give you an Xbox.
He's like,
Tells you the other dungeon master doesn't really love you.
Yeah.
Kids.
Go ask David. Go ask David if it's okay. No.
No.
Oh my god, that's very funny.
So is Dragon Friends why your honeymoon has been delayed for so long?
No, it's
It's symptomatic of the fact that we tend to, all of us, we get very busy. We all do a lot of things in Sydney, so Dragon Friends is increasingly a bigger and bigger part of it, which is a surprise and a delight. But yes, you've been very busy with Z Town stuff, and
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about Z Town.
Oh yeah.
It sounds really exciting.
Yeah.
Tell everybody what it is.
Okay, so Z Town, as in ZEDTOWN.
For American people, that means Z Town.
Well, see, here's the thing. When we first called it Z Town, we called it Z Town so American people would be able to spell it out. And they've actually had no troubles with it.
Australians get
Australian
confused.
people,
Are the ones who just have the Z.
they just think that it's the letter. And we're like, oh my God.
You're like, you can't win.
Yeah. But yeah, Z-Town is a giant zombie apocalypse game. So it's like between 500 to 1,500 people, rock up to a venue. So we've done universities, we've done 2 dueling stadiums, we've done an old western town in Phoenix. And everyone rocks up as survivors with their Nerf blasters. And then we have maybe 10 starting zombies, and then the zombies slowly start tagging people.
No, wait, this is a real live.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my God. So what is your role in this?
I'm the digital director, so it's got an app that also goes with it. So everyone, when they rock up, they get a dog tag with like a unique ID. And so they scan it into the app, it registers them in, and it says, okay, there are 1,000 survivors and 10 zombies. And then when the zombies then start tagging the survivors, they get their dog tags and scan it in, and then the count starts shifting.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so it's just a way of keeping track.
So is there like a winner of this?
Or
Or when does the game end?
So
does it end?
Yeah,
Still going on right
still
now.
going forever. So it goes traditionally between about 3 and 4 hours. We've done up to like 8 hours, I think. But yeah, we usually in the final hour, the final mission, because there's missions going throughout the whole game, the final mission is to make it to evac. And if you make it to the evac zone, then you survive. So if you don't make it to the evac zone, but you do like survive somewhere out in the field, technically you've lost. Because think about any zombie game, if you don't make it to the chopper,
You're done.
chopper's
You're done.
left without you.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's-
So we've been doing it since 2012, and I think in that time we've had maybe a total of 50 survivors, but probably like well over 10,000 players.
wow. That is amazing.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing games. So we started doing them because originally I used to do them with Shakeera, and we started doing them just at the tail end of uni with a lot of people that were actually sort of still Dragon friends connected. Like Alex, Eden, Ben have all played NPCs in it and sort of characters, and we were mostly doing them with our friends. And it was a couple of other people involved as well. There was like there was 3 or 4 of us that were making these games. And then they just kept growing and growing. And then Andrew, who was one of those people that was making the games with Shaq, just started, building and building. And this is the first time they've done games in America.
Just, going to America. We did Costa Mesa in Orange County and Austin and Phoenix. So then hopefully coming back.
To Seattle. We've got 2
Seattle.
stadiums, quite next to each other.
Yeah.
There we go. So maybe Seattle might be the next one.
That
Could
would
be
be
when
fun.
the next outbreak is.
Yeah.
So are the zombies and the NPCs actors?
So the NPCs are all actors. We have so because at the start of the game there aren't a lot of zombies, we actually also have factions, which means that there's survivor on survivor kind of like fighting. So kind of like Walking Dead kind of.
Okay.
Right, there'll be like
stuff.
one militant person and then one who's more of a pacifist or something like
So
that.
yeah, we've got like a red faction, a gold faction, and a blue faction, which is we kind of break up into like kind of security, logistics, and medical for story
It's
building.
not lawful good, neutral good, and
It kind of
chaotic
is.
good.
It
Oh, it
kind
kind
of
of
works
is.
into that way. Red is always like the kind of like
I always said that red was the chaotic evil faction, blue was kind of the totalitarian faction, the very lawful faction, and gold was the inscrutable faction. So we tried not to make it good, neutral, evil. It's all things that can very much be the baddies in somebody else's story.
Got it.
yeah. And then we also have a couple of boss zombies, which so we've got the witch, which kind of borrowed from, like Left 4 Dead and all that kind of stuff, like that kind of idea. But we've also got, in Austin, we had a BMX zombie, so just a guy riding around on a bike.
that sounds so fun.
We've had the Derby zombie, so just on rollerblades.
Oh my god, that would be awesome.
And they're all made up. There's like,
Yeah.
how many makeup artists are there on?
So we've got like a couple of lead makeup artists, maybe about 2 or 3, usually that have done like proper, like, worked on movies and, big live shows. So they're all probably made
But
up.
only, again, but 1,000 I've seen on, so you guys have had like 10, 12 makeup artists. Like you.
Oh yeah. So we've got like 3 lead makeup artists, and then we get usually the college, like people studying and stuff like that to also
come
like
and help and
to
make it
help
more
out
theatrical.
and just because by the end of it they're making up 1,000 people.
Oh, because even when you
So
get turned into
even
a
as
zombie, you start
when you
getting.
get turned, you go.
Yeah, so
hit the makeup.
Yeah, right.
So when
go to your trailer.
That's right. So when you turn into a zombie, like, you've got the choice. You can go get proper makeup done, or we've also got a DIY station.
Oh.
Like, for the people that just want to kind of slap on a quick
No,
word.
Get back
get
to the
the
game.
real
Yeah.
deal.
Exactly.
I gotta tag my friend who just
That's actually the biggest thing. Like, people don't actually want to get out there and just start collecting tags from anyone. It's their friends that left them for dead. Like, revenge is the biggest thing.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I love how that blends so much of where video games kind of took the tabletop gaming. So like when, the D&D in the 70s and board games, and then digital gaming had their own like innovations and things that changed up to how to play in a group in a multiplayer situation. And then now you guys are feeding that back into the face-to-face games. I just think that's so awesome.
And
it's
the digital tools as well, like, are insane. I don't know, just to be, if you're getting the sense of the scale of them, because I think they've built 12 like giant electronic pylon props that are where you have sort of Team Fortress style classes and smart cards that give you certain powers when you swipe them. There's
This is amazing.
timers, and there's all these kind of video elements, and there's an app.
Yeah, so the app basically allows you to keep track of what's happening in the game. It allows you to go on personal missions. So you might talk to your warlord, and the warlord will say, like, all right, our base needs more fuel. Go out and find some fuel. And you'll be able to scan a QR code on your app, and basically it will tell you where to go.
So it's kind of like
to get that.
a cross between role playing and sort of social games, but also there's a huge open world exploration video game, like a live video game element to it. Yeah, they're really, really fun. I ended up going to do a full-time job. I manage a theatre now, but they're super fun, and I really, like, anytime I get a chance to go into one, I still go to them.
So now the real question is this is obviously zombie based, that's a little bit easier when there's like a virus that's taking over zombies, blah, blah, blah. I get that. How can we make this D&D? How can we make this fantasy role play instead of...
Oh, I think you absolutely could. I think, yeah.
You guys are the designers of
There's
this, right? You designed this kind of
Yeah.
together?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So I'm asking the right people.
Wait, did you guys invent this?
Yeah. So this was...
What? Wait, I thought this was like an existing thing, and you work for this company. This is your guys' thing?
Yeah.
Well,
They
then
made
bring it to
Z-Town.
Seattle. Well, then you can.
There's a American... Yeah, you'd have to convince V-Star Entertainment that they can do it here.
So
'cause there's
they're like our American events partner.
Okay.
That have like helped us bring it over.
licensed it.
Oh my God, this is incredible.
Yeah.
But
so,
yeah.
so how to do it
crazy
fantasy?
kids.
How would you make it like fantasy-like?
I think you totally could. I mean, I would probably say that you would build it around a kind of curse.
Like a death curse?
Yeah, like
Oh.
some kind of master plan of some big
Crazy
bad,
religion.
and that is sort of creating a kind of a contagious cult where your people sort of are being forcibly converted into some kind of horde-ish army. You could also just do it really fun, I think, with like goblins and, like everybody's playing goblin tribes that are slowly being united under one tribe.
Oh, like the Shadows of War games.
Yeah.
Like those, like, right? Like it's all...
just like Shadows of War.
Unite the clans.
Back when I was still doing it, we did one which was very much Mad Maxy in its theme, and just the growing sort of horde of made-up war boys that was growing was like that sense of slowly deteriorating odds as society collapses works really well in fantasy and sci-fi and post-apoc.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to just be zombies.
It's true. It's true. And then you can get classes. Everybody can have like wizards,
Exactly.
clerics,
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
fighters,
they already have the
rogues.
class-based system, so yeah.
Yeah, with all the specialists. So, yeah, I think it would actually be a really fun thing to kind of, reskin it.
Yeah.
And go what does it look like without zombies?
You can make the app be more like a scrying stone or something like that. Something that allows you to communicate with a hive mind or something like that through telepathy or psionics or something like.
And well, that's the thing. One of the things that we actually have in the app right now is so you can actually create squads with your friends, and then
Adventuring parties.
with your adventuring parties.
parties.
So and you can actually chat to them already, directly through the app. And we've got a built-in radio station, so there's probably ways to also use that and get messages out to the entire.
The wizards are calling out for this objective to be done at some point. Yeah.
Exactly.
But-
This is so cool.
Yeah, I'm on board.
But if you want to keep it zombies, so we're releasing this fall Axis and Allies and Zombies.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah. So maybe just World War II it up a little.
It would, World War II would
How
definitely
hard
work.
is that?
Everyone loves a little World War II zombies.
What's a little zombie?
We did do a I think we did a Cold War one.
Yeah, that's
a,
right.
A version of a Cold War.
Yeah,
So,
period Z Town is very fun.
yeah.
Period Z time.
Yeah.
We'll
Pride
do
and
a Civil
Prejudice and
War
zombies.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
We'll go back to the Greek times.
Yep.
Who knew? That was an inspiration for
Party in
Aristotle.
Necropolis.
That's awesome. I
That's
just
so
love the
cool.
idea of blending, theater with gaming, with technology, with this kind of. I guess the one piece that you guys are missing is the live streaming of the performance element
Yeah.
of it, of showing people this, so that even if you're not in the city where it is, to be able to experience it and have
Yep.
fun with it.
There's that is increasingly becoming a part of Z Town. One of the things they do, which is really, really cool, is they have an in-world radio station that is streamed online, which gives tips for how to survive the zombies, where the zombies are amassing.
So freaky. For some reason, that creeps me out.
Oh,
Like
it's-
War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a real
the-
thing.
It's super fun, but it would be very easy to move from that to
You're right. I think are you?
No, I think I'm having some flashback. I think it's like a
breathing a
past
little-
life thing.
Is that You're not. You don't want to taste brains or anything right now, do you?
Beans.
Beans. You're a zombie who only wants to eat
I only
beans.
want
A
to-
vegan
I
zombie.
mean, brains still have points, so I'm going to stick with my beans. Do you need me to go get what I left on your desk?
Yes, I do. Please. Yes, I was gone for 9 days, and Shelly gave me a bottle of I don't even know what it was, but it just flushes your system out.
It
is
was
what she said.
it was a beautiful
God.
fizzy laxative,
Oh,
like
That-
seltzer water, but
right.
but a laxative.
Yeah.
fizzy laxative.
But it looked so like a really nice craft seltzer drink, and in
that's
tiny little letters it says
delicious.
laxative.
I saw that on your desk. I thought, it was like a red health potion.
Yes,
or
that's what I thought it
something.
was too. And then
Kind of, it is a
It's
red
a sort of health
potion.
potion.
Shelly left me that with a package of
Gastric
dude
health.
wipes.
Dude wipes. They're exactly what you think they are.
Do not like that.
Thanks.
Shiny, tiny.
I really felt welcome. Thank you.
I think she's trying to tell you something.
I have to sit in a room with this guy for 3 hours every
The
Monday.
worst. Just need to get him out every once in a while.
Dude
At
wipe.
least once an hour.
Maybe Dude Wipes could sponsor some D&D.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Right?
We're talking to you, dude wipes.
Hey, Dude Wipes.
Reach higher. What are you doing?
He's trying to talk.
We also don't have a lot of confidence about our show.
It's kind of a defining feature, really. Oh, man. So we're sad that you guys can't make it to the stream of Many Eyes.
Yeah, no, I can't believe it. It's just so exciting, though, that it's happening again. That suggests that you guys are going to keep, I hope, doing these kind of big events.
I think so. Yeah, we like the the blending of all of these things, of getting people in one place, but then changing it up and making it new and different. So yeah, we want to get you guys back.
Yeah, no, well, we'd love to. Anytime. We find it so like, it seems like cheating because, again, we're sort of friends that have been for ages. So flying to another country, we're going to Seattle. We turned that into such a little holiday. We all went to Portland afterwards.
Oh, nice.
We went out to a barbecue place. We did a little drive tours. It was kind of great experience. So any city, if you could
America.
do a lovely tourist city next time you have us, that's my only request.
Oh, right.
Somewhere with nice small bars, that would be really good if that is aligned with your corporate goals.
That's exactly what we'll do. Yeah,
Totally.
that makes perfect sense. I love that Ben was like, I've been on a lot of tours, but this was good. This was a good tour. You actually took care of us.
Ben's been touring for too long.
Yeah. He was like, I'm used to just being shoved in the corner and made to play music. And he really knocked it out of the park.
It was also super fun for us because it's so isolated being in Australia, really, but we met everybody through that, which is why hopefully one day we get to sort of, whether it's a PAX or Gen Con or another official D&D thing, it's kind of nice. Like, that's how I met Mark Humes. That's where we met a lot of people that we now talk to over Twitter. So, which is obviously something you guys are doing, which is bringing those communities together.
Yeah.
Is really nice for someone who otherwise will not meet them on the con circuit generally, because we have our own weird Australian con
your
circuits.
own little circuits, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
and the next thing is to try to do, bring in people from Asia, from Africa, from Antarctica, all of the continents together. To kind of create this kind of global D&D community. That's one of my goals.
One of the things you said, I can't remember, it might have been at the bar at the first night of Tomb of Annihilation, was that that you would really love to see a narrative, like a D&D streaming continuity universe event where the big bad was the same for everyone and everybody had their missions, and somehow the DMs were working together to create a continuity.
Cool. Like an epic.
Yeah, that I like stuff like that would be so exciting. I think that's very much my kind of jam, and kind of huge, big sort of nerdy confluences.
Absolutely, yeah, no, and especially with the culmination of one of those things happening with the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
It was definitely an inspiration to be like, oh man, there's got to be a D&D universe where all of these...
Because even if your group is just going and getting the magic sword so that it can get to, the high rollers can ferry it, smuggle it underground, and Matt Mercer's group can sort of pick it up, and that would be amazing.
That would be really cool.
Exactly. Right, and then all working towards against one, some goal, some overarching thing that happens. We do some, as Shelley just said, the epics and at conventions. That's what D&D Adventurers League is doing at a few shows where on a smaller scale, people can do that around the table, and then they're all working towards something that is a larger goal. And I love those kind of things. It's kind of like those mega games that you were talking about.
I'm obsessed with. So mega gaming is like role-playing game events for 50 people. So the one that I ran, which was called Watch the Skies, was a kind of mock UN event where 50 people signed up, and you were either a reporter or you were the president of America, or you might be the two joint chiefs, or you might say there was a team of 5 playing the governments, the military, scientific, and political apparatus of all the major superpowers. And they played out a kind of mock UN event on the day that aliens make communication with Earth.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was super fun. And then the generals would all go to the war room, and the diplomats would all go to the UN Security Council meetings. And so you kept breaking up and forming and reforming into smaller groups to deal with problems. And the biggest game mechanic in that situation is just imperfect information and suspicion. And eventually,
diplomacy.
we ended up actually having a nuclear war, which was great.
It happens.
It happens. It's harder than it looks.
Is this another thing you invented?
No, I wish. Jim Wellman, an amazing game designer in the UK, invented Watch the Skies. Though I think the one we did was the second one in the world.
Oh.
I think the second non-Jim games, maybe the third one in the world. But yeah, I'm a big fan of kind of bleeding edge, deep nerd shit.
Yeah.
Is what I would call it.
Yep.
Trying it out as much as you can, making it better. I love that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You actually found out about it through the Shut Up and Sit Down report on it, right?
I love those guys so much. Have you ever seen Shut Up and Sit Down? It's just I love their board game reviews, but I also love the way that they tie in cultural movements in board games, mechanical ingenuity in the way games work, and the way I love the fact that they talk about games as a thing that you are doing that is really a night with friends and how they fit socially into an evening. One of the best set systems that they did was they did a long section on the ways to introduce a game and how badly you can introduce a game versus how well you can introduce a game. And I really love that stuff.
Yep, that's good stuff.
So you guys are in town for a couple more days. You said you're going to play some board games, actually, right?
Yes.
Isn't Mox meant to be quite good in Seattle?
Yes, you have to check out Mox.
Yeah.
Mox Boarding House is great. There's also another one. There's Cafe Mox in Ballard. But I would suggest going to the Mox Boarding House situation because it is, I don't know, it's my favorite game store. The way they have it set up. It's the huge game section and then like a restaurant bar thing, which has different back rooms. Like there's a secret room you can book to play in a secret room with like potions and stuff in the back. It's awesome.
Because we streamed some of the Wizards of the Coast board games as well. When we in the middle of Doom of Annihilation, we sort of took a break and we streamed. So that sort of shows, I think, that we're really into board games. We
love it.
We have a 2-bedroom house, me and Shakeera, and the master bedroom we don't live in. We stay in the smaller bedroom, and we've converted the master bedroom into just it's wall-to-wall bookcases, board games and tables.
We can hook you up.
We got some board games around these.
We got
these
some board
pieces.
games coming up.
That's right.
All around.
But that's always the hard thing too, is trying to find like the way to when you have friends and you're like, oh, what are we gonna do tonight? Let's play a game. And you're like, it's very much, all right, which game do I put out first so that they don't get scared away?
You gotta know your audience.
Exactly. Yeah, right. You want to know what their interests are. They hate transportation and traveling on trains, so you can't give ticket to ride to them. You know, right? So what have you guys had any experience with that?
I think pretty much most people we play with are also, I think, along the same lines as us, like love their board games, but also...
we have a couple of, I think, games, go-to entry-level games.
What's the go-to game for new people?
Codenames is a super strong early contender, I think, for...
The new one, I think, is Spyfall.
Spyfall is really good, yeah. If you have 8 people, it's super fun, which...
8 is a hard number to get together, though.
Yeah, I also love those kind of party games where we're also big fans of Resistance and
Coup and
the games of shouting. Paranoia games are super fun.
That's how you get to really know someone.
Yeah. So I've said some shit to my friends in the heat of the moment in that game, and I maintain that I would not have done it if they weren't proving by their actions that they are terrible people who can't be trusted.
So
in the game, only in the game though.
Usually when we play like some of those more hardcore yelly games, we try and also do palate cleanser games afterwards.
That more like friend games?
The nice kind of games like Dixit or whatever, the games that kind of remind you that, oh, we actually like each other.
That's a good way to end the evening.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Start with diplomacy, end with...
I can't play diplomacy.
No, I can't either. It's one of our games.
Did you hear what happened to Shelley?
No. What happened?
It was just a bad experience.
It was the same for me. The last time I played diplomacy, I think I was like, no, what do you mean you're attacking me? You can't attack me. You said you were you know what? I can't do this. I'm sorry. I'm going. I walked, and I've never walked from games, but I was yelling. I realized I'd yelled at everybody in the game.
No wonder they betrayed you. You were yelling at everyone.
I just felt so disappointed, like in the person that really stabbed me in the back, but also in myself, because I was like, you fell for that.
Yeah.
And you knew you shouldn't, but twice. It was twice. I fell for it twice. In the same game.
He betrayed you, and then like the turn later, you're like, okay, I'll trust you now.
I just wanted to believe him.
Again.
He looked me right in the eyes. We did this like with our coworkers, which is just not, it's not a team building.
It's a team shattering experience.
Team shattering.
The shouting is fine. You're right. I didn't realize it until you said it. Shouting is fun in games like that. It's the moment somebody looks at you and goes, I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed that you're like, oh, I have ended a friendship.
Yeah.
I have definitely ended friendship.
It was hard, and I went into that game knowing that like people were like friendship ender. Oh, it's terrible. But I was like, it's just a game. Like I know it's a game. I'm not really gonna be mad at these people.
So there is a video game called Neptune's Pride, and it is a very strange. It is essentially diplomacy, but on a massive scale. You play it with as many of your friends as you want.
Nope.
A game takes 30 to 45 days because if you attack a friend you will send your fleets to them, and it might take 96 hours for the fleets to get there. So everything moves in real time, and you get so invested in this game on your phone, and you're just checking it and checking it and checking it. I played it with all of the Dragon friends, like Shakeera as well. We all played a game while we were at uni together. Michael Hing, who's one of the Dragon friends, showed his true colors by like insanely gaming it. He would set alarms for himself at like 2 a.m., 4:30 a.m. and 5 a.m. to attack people, countermand attacks people. So, like he was just
amazing.
He was just a maniac, and he won. He completely destroyed us all.
You should.
I think that's also, though, because everyone by that time had quit. So
that's how he won. Yeah, he made us all quit the game, and then he grimly played against the AI.
Just going through the motions.
I'm gonna finish
David,
this game.
do you want to tell what you did?
I don't. It's not the story. Okay. I also that is also the game where me and Shakeera, very unfortunately, and I maintain by a cruel trick of random allocation of the map.
She's not buying it.
We're placed back, like cornered up in an area where we could only really attack each other, and we tried to make a truce work for as long as possible, and there was no more terrain left, and one of us was going to attack the other, and we were both getting a bit stressed out about it, and both of us were finding it hard to deal with because we knew we were playing this game only one of us could win. And I said to Shaq, this is getting insane. We're taking this too seriously. Let's just go to a nice tapas place and have dinner, and we'll have a date night, and we'll just forget this awful game. And so we both went, and we got dressed up and went out. And then just before we left, I attacked her with all of my armies. And then we went and had a lovely dinner. And then and I was like, this is going so well. Do you want to go see?
I asked her to marry me.
Do you want to see a movie? And then we came home that night. And yeah.
What did you do when you found out?
I am pretty sure I don't think I really spoke to you for like a few days.
That's a wise choice.
I would feel so betrayed.
So betrayed.
I am pretty sure I actually cried.
I think I quit the game the next day. I felt really bad about it.
You're like, I thought this was going to be fun, but it's actually just terrible.
No, I don't feel so good.
And, any game that takes that long, which is also one of the problems with diplomacy, when you invest that much time in it, like any little betrayal feels so much worse.
Right.
Like if we had only been playing for an hour, would have been fine. But I think this was already maybe like a week and a half into it.
Of checking your phone every 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm like, what have I done with the last week and a half, and now this. This.
But you forgave him, I guess, a little bit.
I think
married now. Somehow.
Who got the raw deal now?
And of course,
this is a long play for you. I see.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have a couple of years down the road and when.
Oh, I haven't forgotten.
But it was instrumental in Shaq quitting and then me quitting the next day. So who's to say that this wasn't part of Hing's master plan?
Well,
set you two against each other.
Turns you all against
and that's
each
the
other.
thing, like every year, like once a year, there is a Facebook status that Hing writes, which is like, so who wants to play Neptune's Pride? Like he's still playing it. Like
Nice.
And then
just once a year.
it's just a chain of all of our friends going, no, you homicidal maniac.
Yeah.
Now I want to play though.
No.
Oh my God.
Do not
Do
bring
it-
that into the office.
Do it with the whole office.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Draw the map up on the
No, with you
whiteboard.
guys, with the Dragon Friends too.
Oh my God.
I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
That'll only build our teams together.
Oh, would it?
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm not playing.
You're being very optimistic.
done.
At least
with
I
those
know.
games. I'm done.
You're done with all kinds of games that involve betrayal.
Not
At House on
not
the Hill.
House on the Hill or Baldur's Gate.
House on the Hill's Legacy is going to come out.
Yeah, it is.
I am so excited about that. I love Legacy games.
When we're done here, come back to my desk and I'll show you the box.
Yes, please.
It's so pretty.
It is very pretty. Well, I think that's a good wrapper point because you have a game to show off, and it's been really great talking to you guys.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much for
Wow.
having us.
Wow. I just feel like that was too soon.
I know that was too soon. I was going to say that now is the time where you guys can, where can people find out about where
Yes.
Dragon Friends is, where you guys are?
So we are on Twitter, Instagram, and and Facebook, and all of that can be found by going to thedragonfriends.com, which is our website. If you're in Australia, from Sydney, seriously, at 7 p.m. tonight, there's going to be an insane one-of-a-time game. It's got Susie Youssef, who is awesome Australian comedian on all sorts of TV shows. She's going to be doing the show, and if you're not a live face jockey, as we like to say, if you are instead an ear jockey, which is also fine, then you'll hear them in the next couple of weeks on the podcast, which is our main content is the podcast.
And is that actually 7 p.m. tomorrow?
Yes, 7 p.m. Tuesday, which is actually in about 12 hours' time.
Oh, they got plenty of
About 11
time.
hours.
Yeah,
I don't understand time
Time
at
travel.
all. It's very
I
difficult.
think it's 6 a.m. in the morning in Australia at the moment, on Tuesday.
I don't believe it. I don't know. I don't know how time works.
Who
And
does?
how can people find out about Z-Town if they want to check it out?
Just go to zedtown.com. ztown.com.
Awesome.
It's all there.
That
And then
sounds
they can figure out ways to
amazing.
get it into their towns or something like that, or is that just like
So we've set up a voting mechanism on the US Z-Town website, which is we've got a list of American towns, and people can vote for a town that they want.
nice? Put Seattle on the
Request
list if
an
it's not already.
apocalypse.
I think
There you
Seattle
go.
is on the list, so
We've
you
got
know.
5 games we're going to do in Tacoma, but I don't think we're doing Seattle.
Well, that's close enough. That's good. We can do that.
Go there.
That works. And then, of course, the Dragon Friends season 4. I
Yeah.
mean, we're going strong. It's in space. We've been talking a lot about the GIF
Yep.
and all the fun Spelljammer stuff on Laurie Chanel. So if you want to see it in action, you should definitely check out
And
Dragon Friends now.
if you're looking for a place to get started, Dragon Friends season 4 is actually kind of really cool. There's like really cool comedians. Demi Lardner's in it. The pop star Montaigne came and played a character and then wrote and sang a song, which is in the podcast.
Oh my God.
So there's a lot of cool
going
stuff in
crazy.
season 4.
Cool. All right, go check it out. Thanks again for stopping by while you were here in the
I
United
know,
States.
so convenient.
Good times.
Thank you for having us. This is super fun.
Awesome. All right, so that's it for this interview. We're going to take a short break and come back at 3 p.m.-ish for Lore You Should Know, where Chris and Matt and I will talk about some D&D lore. I know we're talking about the Seven Sisters, and we got 2 other topics coming in hot. And then we have another interview at 4 p.m. Pacific time with Carlos from Neon Rivals, which is tons of fun. So I can't wait to find out about him and him streaming with Aram Vartian of Godfall, as well as a new show that's coming out pretty soon called Rivals. I can't wait to tell you about that. All right, cool. Thanks, guys. We're going to take a short break. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed via Twitch. You won't have to watch this amazing ad that we're about to play.
Thanks.
But in the meantime, you can watch this also. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye for now.